Hey everybody, welcome to or welcome back to Follow the Moon Rabbit Unscripted, my podcast where we explore the mystical, the spiritual, the taboo, and the unseen realms. I'm your host. I'm your host, Michelle, your Moon Rabbit Witch, and today I'm going to talk about the witch wound. Yay! What is it? Okay, so last year Spirit opened up an opportunity for me to work with an incredibly skilled psychic medium. Her name is Valerie Boyce. She's also known as the Intuition Witch. Initially, I believed that her guidance was going to help me remember how to tap into and trust my intuition again. And this was kind of like an addition to my mental, emotional, and spiritual healing journey that I was already doing for my complex PTSD. So, what I didn't know is that I had no idea that she was going to be a pivotal key to unlocking what I had previously buried. Even so, there has been something preventing me from fully embracing me, like my power, my stepping into my personal power, my personal authenticity, and really owning the fact that I have these gifts and abilities. So, recently, I was speaking with Valerie and I asked her, what can I do to clear the blocks? And she suggested that I look into the witch wound. So I had this brilliant idea. I decided that I was going to not only do the work on researching what is this witch wound thing, but I was also going to share my experiences around healing my witch wound on this podcast. So it's messy and disorganized and it's a hot mess, whatever. But hopefully it will help others who are in the same spot as me. So let's dive into this together. And if you're interested in learning more about Valerie, I'm going to have a link for her website in the description. So let's go. Let's get into it. Now, so the term witch wound, I've heard this. I've heard this like for quite a long time. Like I can remember as far back as being a teenager in high school and everybody's like, "Ooh, if you have the X in the palm of your hand, you were a witch. Ooh, you were crucified and wounded and you died. Ooh, you were burnt at the stake. Ooh." Yeah, stuff like that. Stuff like that. Kids. um, but what what is the actual wound? Like ancestrally. So we don't have to look far back in history to see that there has been an incredibly huge impact on humanity and the subconscious with the witch trials, because there was women and healers and midwives and herbalists, anyone who had basically stepped outside of the accepted norms. They were hunted, silenced, and erased. And while we may not be facing executions today, we are definitely facing great obstacles, especially if you're, in your feminine power. And that fear of being persecuted for your power, it's still here. It's like woven into our DNA, into our culture, into the whispers that tell us to be quiet and play small, fit in, be normal. This trauma has been passed down through generations, and it has a name. It's called the witch wound. It's the fear of being seen, the fear of standing in your truth, the fear of being called too much or too weird. I mean, basically, we've been gaslit for generations with phrases like, you're too emotional or you're too sensitive. It's why so many of us second guess our intuition and we downplay our gifts and hesitate before sharing our spiritual practices with the world. As you can tell, I'm a little bit passionate about this. But here's the thing, this wound isn't just about pain, it's also a portal. Because when we heal the wound, when we alchemize this pain, we reclaim something very, very powerful. We remember who we were before the fear took hold. And that, my friends, is a game changer. So, how can you recognize the sign of the witch wound for yourself? And this is what I came up with. How do you know if this wound is showing up in your life? Maybe you felt it before without even realizing it. Heck, when I was going through this and researching, I realized that not only do I have this, but it was something that my mom had, and it's something that was from my mom was passed down to me and passed down to my little sister. It can manifest in several ways, like the hesitation before you share something spiritual with others, or that fear of being too much, or too different, or too emotional, or too sensitive. So here's some other common signs. There's self doubt and fear of judgment. Like you feel like you need permission to trust your own intuition. You question yourself constantly. Is this real? Am I making this up? That's crazy. Maybe I'm Delulu. For me, this showed up in my life as being a loss of faith in my own intuition because my intuition told me, don't do this. And I had all these people in my ear trying to tell me how to live my frickin' life. Quit being selfish. Quit being so rambunctious. You're never going to live that kind of life. You're never going to do that. Just do this. Get married. Settle down. Have a big family. Go to church. And then when I broke away from all of that, I'm like, no, that really is not my life. This is who I am. This is where I'm going to go. This is what I'm going to do. I was met with so much resistance. So much resistance. You're crazy. I never said that. I never did that. I literally thought I was losing my mind. And it's still something that I struggle with even today. Like, am I really communicating with the, like, am I really connected with the deceased? Because, I mean, I feel like I might be Delulu. No, it's true. They really are here. They really are. The next one is suppressing your gifts. You're drawn to things like tarot, astrology, energy healing, or other mystical practices, and you feel the need to keep it hidden because you're worried about what other people might think. And for me, how this showed up in my life was me being chastised for my gifts. Because I can remember distinctly being two, climbing out of my crib, and as I was doing so, receiving direction on how to do it carefully. So, yeah, this is something that's always been with me. And me asking the people that are closest to me, hey, what does this mean? What is this? What do I do with it? And being told, oh, that's demonic, that's satanic. We don't talk about those things. You need to go to church. You need to pray. Excuse me? I was 4 fucking years old. Why are you telling your kid that's 4 years old, oh, we don't talk like that? You need to go pray. Mm-mm. No. So I kept my mouth shut. I kept my mouth shut. Except for like when emergencies, and believe me, there were emergencies. Like my parents were so freaking oblivious. There was a tornado about to touch down and they were oblivious to it. And I'm like literally screaming at my mom, hey, we have to go. We have to go. We have to go. I was 3.5, 4 years old when that happened. Because I knew. I knew. Another perfect example of that around my parents is my father wanted to go fishing because he's an outdoorsy kind of guy. And we were at some delta in the middle of fucking nowhere. And he decides that he's going to start drinking with these other two people. And I'm telling my mom, this is a bad idea. These people are dangerous. This is bad news. And she is shushing me. Shushing me. Be quiet. Be quiet. This doesn't concern you. Let the adults talk. Mom, I'm telling you, this is a bad idea. These people are bad. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. The fuck, I don't know what I'm talking about. People went to jail that night. People almost died because they were drunk and they did some stupid shit. That's how I lived my life. That's why my gifts exist. That's why I have complex PTSD. This eventually turned into another one of the signs: people pleasing and fear of standing out. When you're people pleasing and you're afraid of standing out, you shrink yourself down to avoid rocking the boat, or you stay quiet even when you know your soul is screaming to be heard because you have something to say. These things were so big in my world: the people pleasing and the fear of standing out, because I had to be normal. I had to fit in. I couldn't tell people, well, I hear spirits. I hear guardian angels. I can see them sometimes. And when I see them, they're an incredibly glorious light. When I was a young person, I leaned into my art. Like, I leaned into art because I was basically drawing and sketching pictures of the things that I was seeing and the messages that I was hearing. And I had a great deal of passion and love for this. And I wanted that to be my career. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to go to the Art Institute in San Francisco. I wanted to go and travel the world and just explore all that the world has to offer, and just be completely enveloped in this creative spiritual process. Man, did I get shut the fuck down. My mom and my dad wouldn't support me going to college. I tried to get a scholarship through my high school that I was going to, and the art teacher who does those scholarships turned me down because she was too invested in giving scholarships to the football students. And then turned around and published my piece that she gave me a D on and told me that this piece that I drew, she's like, I'm going to give you a D in this, and if you want to graduate high school, you got to get out of my class because otherwise I'm going to flunk you. And then turned around and took that piece that she gave me a D on and published it in the school newspaper. Fuck you, bitch. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't stand out in my art. I couldn't stand out in my personality. I couldn't stand out in my intuition and my gifts. So I shrank. I shrank the fuck down. And I did a lot of people pleasing, especially in the corporate world, because here I am. I know information, and I have the ability to utilize this information, and yet I can't just say, well, I'm a psychic medium and I have the ability to see the future of your business and this is what you should do. No. I had to put it together in a very politically correct way, in a very logical way. That's how I played. That's how I played. When it came to relationships, yeah, I was freaking, I was a mess, guys. I was a mess. Another sign is disconnecting from your feminine or your divine power. Your feminine power or your divine wisdom. Whether or not you identify as a female, this wound is deeply tied to the suppression of feminine energy. And that would be intuition, creativity, nurturing, and connection to the unseen. And this one showed up in my life in horrible ways. I mean, horrible. So, from an incredibly early age, I learned that being a female was not safe. It was a bad idea to be a girl. It was bad to be feminine. It was it was bad. I had SA and molestation and big fat R. Men and women were keeping me from feeling safe. I had unsafe parents. Anything that I did that was creative was absolutely ridiculed. So not only did I not feel safe as a female, I was unsafe being creative. I wasn't nurtured. The intuition that I had was scolded and reprimanded. That's how it showed up in this time. I can't imagine what it is showing up or how it is showing up in my previous existences. To know that I am who I am and be who I am and not feel safe to do it because I am not allowed. Being in a timeline where I cannot connect to my feminine. In fact, my father, my biological father, he raised me to be like a little boy. He wanted me to learn how to fix cars and work on boats and go hunting and camping. And there's not look, no, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But it was so much so that he would not let me wear girly clothes. I had to wear jeans and t-shirts, boy jeans and boy t-shirts and boy tennis shoes because it was cheaper. It was cheaper. It was cheaper that way. Hold on, I'm gonna let Kitty out. There's nothing wrong with working on cars and learning how to hunt and all of that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that my biological father was really adamant that I be raised and treated like a boy. And he told me that um, the reason for that was because he wanted to make sure I wasn't dependent upon any man for anything. Respect to that mindset. However, when I was a developing teenager, that tune kind of changed a little bit. And he would say things like, "We don't cut your hair because you have to have long hair, because men like long hair. And you have really pouty lips. And those lips are really good for things that you'll learn about later. And men will be very attracted to your lips." Or you have you have a big chest, and that's very attractive. Men will definitely like that. Also, you're really fucking fat and you need to lose weight. My mom was no better. My mom was no better. Not in any way, shape, or form. She protected my molester because it was family. And then got upset with me when she was like, this is after I became a mom, and she's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I'm in contact with your molester and his mom and blah blah blah." And I'm like, first of all, why are you telling me this? I really don't freaking care. So don't. And second of all, why would you be in contact with that person that touched your little girl? And her response to me was, "Michelle, that was a long time ago. You need to get over it." She was not a safe person. And she was not in a safe position when she was growing up either. So this shit was passed down. All right. So if any of this is resonating with you, I need you all to just take a nice deep breath right now because this shit's triggering as fuck. You're not alone in this. You're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. And just as this wound has been passed down, guess what? So can the alchemizing and healing. And bitch, that's what I'm here to do. Let's get on. So, how can we heal and reclaim our power? So, healing the witch wound isn't about erasing the past, okay? We're not going to erase that. It's about remembering your power in spite of it. It's about standing in your truth unapologetically and reclaiming the gifts that you were once feared for. How do we do that? Well, we can do the shadow work. Oh my gosh, love the shadow work. Just don't spend forever in it. The first step to healing is acknowledging that this is a thing. So, journal about your fears. Where did they come from? Do they belong to you? And were they inherited? For me, it was very much inherited. Reconnecting with your intuition. Start small. Pull a tarot card for yourself without second guessing. Sit in silence and listen. Trust what comes. I highly recommend for those of you who are in the similar position as me, where you really don't freaking know the difference between your brain and your intuition, get with someone who can intuitively coach you. There are psychic mediums out there who will coach you on trusting your intuition. Valerie is one of them, and she's amazing. She's amazing, amazing, amazing. I highly recommend her. She's going to be going on maternity leave, so I don't know if she's taking any clients on right now, but you could still call and get like a psychic reading or whatever, and she can help guide you if you have questions about your intuition. And then let her know that you're interested in coaching with her, and she'll get you set up for when she comes back from maternity leave. And the next thing is finding your community, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm reaching out to all my besties and letting y'all know me in a nutshell. And it's ugly. It's ugly. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. You know what? We're all messes. We are beautiful in our mess. And we are showing up. We are showing up. And it's time. It's time to show up. Okay? So find your community. Find your tribe. This witch wound thrives in isolation. And healing happens when we are in connection. So find your soul tribe and look at the people who are here to see you, like really see you and honor you as you are. And that's why I'm showing up as I am right now today. Okay. Yeah, I did my face, but my hair be a hot mess. My attitude be a hot mess. I don't care. I'm here as me. And I'm being authentic and I'm sharing my story with you. Because there is a bunch of other little bunnies out there who need to follow the moon. Rituals and affirmations are another way to do this healing or to start your healing journey. Light a candle and affirm, I am safe to be seen. Hell, I had to start with, I am safe. I am safe. I am protected. And then I could move into, I am safe to be seen. I am safe to be heard. I can reclaim my power because I am reclaiming my power. Create small sacred moments that remind you of your strength. Write it down, draw it out, sing it out, dance it out. Go to the gym and pump some iron, whatever it's going to take for you to reclaim your strength. Take some small steps by going for a little walk. Whatever. Reclaim your strength as a woman, as the divine feminine, regardless if you're male or female. This healing work is very personal, but it's also a collective journey. It's personal within our unique selves because we are all unique, and yet it is so important for the entire collective. Every time one of us reclaims our voice and reclaims our power, we create space for others to do the same. And that is how we break this cycle. And we can also use this wound as our portal to power. For me, I am an alchemizer of energy. I clear, transmute, delete. I can do all of those things with energy. I'm a healer by and large because of the ability that I have to be an alchemist of energy. So, this is what I'm going to teach the alchemizers. I myself want you to lean into this. All right. If you're experiencing self doubt and fear of judgment, lean into that fear. And I mean hard. Let it be your fuel. Lean into it and do it anyway. Read books on supernatural topics, learn about your gifts, trust your instincts, and get intuitive coaching. Don't worry so much about being judged because your life is not meant for fitting in. You're not for everyone, just the right ones. Okay? If you're suppressing your gifts, stop that shit. It's the equivalent of not eating or drinking water. Where will your body get its nutrients from if you're not feeding it? It's the same for your soul, the same for your gifts. Suppressing your gifts isn't nurturing for your soul, and it robs the world of receiving something truly magical. If you're drawn to tarot, astrology, energy healing, or other mystical practices, learn about them, practice using them, and then practice using them with other like minded souls. Hell, hit me up. You can practice on me. I'm fine with that. If you're people pleasing and afraid of standing out, take up space, baby doll. Take up all the space. Big and loud and vibrant. Take up space. Rock the boat. Say the weird thing. Wear the raspberry beret. Sing out loud and dance to the beat of your own drum. Say no when it's not in alignment with your soul. Your tribe will only recognize you when you're showing up authentically. So be you. Be you. If you're disconnected from your feminine power or your divine wisdom, whether you identify as a female or not, this wound is deeply tied to the suppression of feminine energy, to intuition, creativity, and nurturing, and connection to the unseen. I've had to start from scratch and paint. Okay? So do creative things, test your intuition, nurture yourself, body and mind. Meditate on the yin and the yang of energy being balanced within. In my last podcast, I talked about, making your psychic muscles grow. You can get playing cards and try and guess the color. Then guess the number. Then guess what the shade is or the shape is. Do stuff like that. Alchemizing pain into power means leaning into the parts where it's uncomfortable and then doing it anyway. It's taking back control of what is rightfully yours, your power to live this life authentically and on your terms. However, it is not a call to control people around you, besties. Mm-mm. No, your task is to lead by example so that others can see what it means to show up bravely, liberated, free, and in truth. So, as we wrap this up, I want you to take a moment. I want you to put your hand on your heart and breathe in, hold, and out. Remember your magic. You are a magical spiritual being. Remember your intuition, your voice. It all deserves to be here. Say yes to you. If this resonated with you, I would love to hear your thoughts. Have you felt this witch wound in your own life? How have you been working through it? Have you been working through it? Connect with me on my socials or in the comments above, below. I want to keep this conversation going. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share this with them because healing isn't meant to be done alone. Well, besties, that's it for this week. Until next week, follow the moon, shoot for the stars, and know that you're loved. Bye, besties.